Ms. Eileen Poe, Director International Relations Civil Aviation Authority of Singapore, Civil Aviation Authority of Singapore representatives and facilitators, a representative from Nauru, participants from Fiji Airways, CAAF, AFL and government ministries, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Abulavanaka, and welcome to the Joint Civil Aviation Authority of Singapore and Civil Aviation Authority of Fiji workshop on reducing aviation-related CO2 emissions. On behalf of the Fijian government and the Fijian people, it's a pleasure to welcome you all, in particular our guests from Singapore and Nauru, and of course all of you who are here. Over the course of the next 2 days, discussions will center around the development of state action plans, which are designed to focus our attention on measures being undertaken, as well as the measures that need to be undertaken to reduce CO2 emissions in our aviation industries through 2050. The State Action Plan will be the means for a country to report its carbon reduction measures to the ICAO, which can then better track progress towards the carbon benchmarks agreed to by the global community. This workshop provides a unique opportunity for participants to learn about what's involved in the preparation of an action plan, and our thanks goes to the Civil Aviation Authority of Singapore for providing the necessary expertise, and also to the ICAO for providing the relevant guidance materials. I understand Singapore completed theirs last year, so it's very much fresh in their minds. And as you know, Singapore is a great repository of cutting edge, not just in terms of innovations, etc., but also in terms of the intellectual input in various aspects of economic well-being throughout the world, and in particular in this instance at the ICAO level. Ladies and gentlemen, the issue of reducing CO2 emissions has an increased relevance and urgency for us, in particular in the Pacific. We're in the front line of climate change. We're not far removed from its impact like most people in the developed world. The effects of rising waters and more frequent natural disasters are seen and felt in our daily lives. In fact, some countries, I think it is Tuvalu, where the highest peak above sea level is 12 feet. Therefore, green growth, sustained development and climate change are topics of urgent discussion in Fiji and in the region. In fact, in the last couple of weeks alone, there has been 2 important forums in Fiji that have addressed these issues. Last week, Fiji hosted the inaugural Pacific Island Development Forum, which focused on regional development through green and blue economies. And on Monday, our Prime Minister conducted our second climate change summit here in Nadi. Speaking at that event, our Prime Minister made a point that I think is clearly worth repeating here, and I quote, "Climate change is clearly a global problem that requires global solutions. But rather than merely wringing our hands and telling the international community that something must be done, we ourselves need to take charge of those areas which we can influence." Unquote. Working to reduce CO2 emissions in our aviation industry is one such area. While Fiji is clearly not one of the big carbon polluters, we are nevertheless committed to making whatever contribution we can in this regard. Improving the environmental performance of aviation is a challenge we take very, very seriously. The strategies for carbon reduction in the aviation industry include investment in new technology, more efficient operations, especially in terms of air traffic management, better infrastructure and positive market-based measures, or in other words, economic incentives to reduce pollution. Indeed, in Fiji, as has been highlighted by Aline, Fiji Airways has recently purchased the 3 brand new Airbus A330s with Rolls-Royce engines that reduce carbon emissions by 40%. And let's not forget, reducing emissions doesn't only help the environment, it saves airlines significant amounts of money, savings that can be passed on to consumers, and of course can be passed on to staff if they have profit sharing. Because in order to reduce emissions, you have to improve efficiency, and improve efficiency means lower costs. Ladies and gentlemen, the civil aviation industry often plays a central role in a nation's economy and contributes significantly towards its development. This is certainly the case in Fiji. A healthy civil aviation industry or sector is crucial to our prosperity and development, and has flow-on benefits for our vital tourism industry. That's why we're committed to adopting best international practice and standards, including with carbon reduction. For all of us, increasing environmental performance will not only promote the sustainable growth of the international civil aviation industry, but will ensure that each one of us play our part in reducing emissions. I once again welcome our visitors to Fiji and urge you to take time out to enjoy our Fijian hospitality and also there's lots of land available. A wonderful tenure system now. You can lease lands up to 99 years. And welcome once again, and thank you once again for facilitating this. We're greatly appreciative of it. And indeed, in recent times, many of the forums which the acting PS for in the sort of civil aviation has attended, and some of the other staff have attended. We're most appreciative of that opportunity to interact at that level and have that sort of intellectual input. And so thank you once again. I take that please back to your line minister. Ladies and gentlemen, it now gives me much pleasure to open officially this workshop. Naka, thank you.